Hello, and today we're going to talk about Aphrodite, or as I like to call her, Big Tits McGee. In the 3v3 game mode, we will be discussing builds, how to start off the game, your role as a mage, and team comps. Alright, let's jump right into builds. So I like to start off with stacking items, either Warlock Sash or Doom Orb. Both are good, but Doom Orb's a little bit more risky. Then I go right into Shoes of Focus for the cooldown reduction, and then Chronos Pendant or Breastplate of Valor to max my cooldown duration. Followed up by Polynomicon or Bancroft's Talon. Personally, I prefer Polynomicon for the extra bit of oomph to your auto attacks. Finally, I get Rod Tahuti, and then the last item is kind of just a situational item. I personally prefer Rod of Asclepius, just for the fact that people usually try and counter your heals, so it's a good item to uncounter their counter. For active items, totally up to you. I personally enjoy getting Heavenly Agility for extra healing and to support my team, as well as Greater Purification Beads for those bad situations. But, you know, it's all situational. So starting off with Aphrodite, you usually want to put 2 points into her 3, and then 1 point into her first one, so you can link up to somebody and keep them topped off while doing buff camps. I said this in my previous video, but always start at speed. It's one of the best starts out there. There's a whole bunch of different ways to start out, but this is going to maximize your experience possible. You're going to want to go ahead after speed, go and get red buff. Usually leave this for somebody else unless they really want mana. You're going to want mana buff because not only does it help you stay in lane longer and build up those stacks, but it will also give 20% to the person you're linked up to because of your passive ability. So it's a great buff to have, and you know, using it throughout the entire game is not at all a bad thing. You know, it's actually really useful because it also gives you some good cooldown duration. However, if you want to go ahead and go for the more damagey type of Afro and just kind of really be a bully, go ahead and take red. You know, it's either or is just fine. There's no complete preference, except early game you're going to want that blue buff. Let's talk about her role in 3v3. Her primary role is going to be lane clear. That's why you're building those stacks, as well as just supporting her allies, healing them up. You know, her main thing is healing and kind of poking people down with those birds. It's a really useful ability, and that's why you level it first and you go lots of cooldown durations to heal as often as you can and do as much damage as possible. Your one is also stun that gives a buff to the person you're linked to. So use it strategically, especially if you have, you know, allies who can also stun, combo it up with them. Your second ability is a detonate, and it can really start doing a lot of damage late game. So level that one after you finish leveling your 3. Aphrodite does do a lot of damage late game, and I highly recommend, you know, building her in damage because you can kind of like stay with them and brawl. Like right here, I'm like deep in enemy territory, 3 versus 2 right here, and I'm not dying. I'm actually killing them because while doing damage to them, I'm healing myself and my allies. This is the key point of Aphrodite, and that's why she's so powerful at times. So use that to your advantage, most definitely. Now, team comps are a really important factor in Aphrodite's gameplay. She is completely revolving around the idea of supporting a team, healing them up, and having at least multiple people to take care of, you know, air quotes. Certain comps that work really well, like there's the awesome, you know, combo of the Hercules and Afro because you have so much sustain, it's ridiculous. So other healing combinations works really well with Aphrodite. Lots of crowd control works incredibly well. Ymir, you know, can combo off with Aphrodite's stun on top of his stun, and all that damage is fantastic. But one of the key factors is, you know, everyone's just kind of tanky, you know, like right here, it's a Ymir and Aphrodite and a Kali. It's very difficult to kill. Everybody has an out. So comps like this work very well, and they complement Aphrodite's style very positively. So use those to your advantage. Aphrodite also allows basically teams to go in and kind of have a little bit of a worry-free attitude. So it's a really strong feature of Aphrodite. So to recap, builder, fairly offensive. Do not ignore the defensives. Support your team as much as possible, and don't be afraid to brawl with the enemy team. That's the whole point of Aphrodite. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe.